Welcome back to the classroom. Come on in, no late pass required. Today we are getting into season 1, episode 3 of Ahsoka, and we're watching it so early at this point that it hasn't even shown me the episode title yet, so I can't even tell you what we're getting into here. But if you missed the last reaction, make sure to check the card up in the top right hand corner, because there was a lot that happened. We got to see a bit of a faithful homage to that of Star Wars Rebels. They were showing us basically the season 4 finale, the series finale in a sense, but in live action, and it was as beautiful as could be. Some wonderful callbacks to those like Kanan, even if they don't necessarily mention him. And some pretty epic fight scenes on Corellia. We got to see how they are putting together a ship right now to go to another galaxy where Thrawn and Ezra were kind of jettisoned to, as Morgan Elsbeth and some of her associates, Balin and Shin, are kind of on the hunt for Ahsoka at this point because they believe that, you know, she could stop their plans. And Morgan wants nothing more than to find Thrawn and bring him back. And we all know that that'll be that won't be the best thing in the world if that ends up happening. And so I'm really excited to see what happens next. Sabine has officially joined up with Ahsoka, and they are traveling, and they are heading off to where the last known location of, I believe it was the Eye of Sion was the name. And also, cool name for a ship, but I also totally forgot to mention last time that for those of you who are really nerdy in the Star Wars community, there was a Sith by the name of Darth Sion, and I don't know if there's any relation, but either way, I'm excited to see what comes of it. So without further ado, let's hop into Ahsoka Season 1, Episode 3. Some of the music kind of gives me vibes of like Tales of the Jedi. Yo!
Set. Kire.
It's been a while.
Obviously.
Fighting like General Grievous
Still
there.
remember the basics. Enough to get by.
Barely.
Yeah, let's try something else. You're training the body, but you must also open your mind.
Open yourself up to the Force.
Takes a deeper commitment.
Well, I discovered that according to Hu Yang, I'm the worst candidate to be a Jedi out of every Jedi he's ever known.
You told her that?
It's true.
Doesn't matter.
I think it does.
Agreed.
You're joking.
With the blast shield down? Almost looks like a fencing
How am I
mat.
supposed to fight?
I want you to see with more than just your eyes.
Gonna test her Force sensitivity in a sense.
Okay.
Listen to my voice.
Listen, use your other senses. Oh, this is so cool. We're gonna see Ahsoka train her.
Do you know where I am?
Next to Hu Yang.
Are you sure?
Very funny.
You'd be dead. Take in all that is around you.
Ahsoka. I love this.
Follow my voice.
This is so cool. I wonder if she's gonna start noticing something. This would be awesome. Oh, she's moving faster now. Ooh! There's a little bit of something there. Yo, this is kind of epic. Oh, all right. She picked something up there. There was progress made.
Anger and frustration are quick to give power. but they also unbalance you.
Yeah.
Let's go again.
That's such an epic scene. I loved everything about that. Time to fly. Wonder what this is gonna be about. Oh, we got some A-Wings? Oh, we got the entire freaking fleet going on right now.
Chancellor Mothma, senators.
Oh,
You look well. How's
Mothma.
Fine, Chancellor.
Outliers. We have former Imperials working throughout every level of the New Republic government.
Don't get
All
complacent.
taken an oath of loyalty.
Long live the Empire doesn't sound like the kind of loyalty we're looking for. Yes, but I believe their activity speaks to a larger operation.
It always does.
Involving Thrawn.
Ah.
And Admiral Thrawn.
And that his allies are working on a way to find him.
Yes, they are.
You are certain of this?
Your personal quest to find Ezra Bridger.
Ezra vanished while fighting Thrawn.
And that you conveniently use a threat of Thrawn's return to acquire those resources. That could be put to a more practical purpose.
Come
Helps
on.
the people.
Were you ever in the war, Senator?
No.
Yeah. Then you have no idea what you're talking about.
Just sat back and waited to see who came out on top?
You don't mess around with Hera.
The Imperial fleet is scattered and broken. They have no centralized command.
Unless Thrawn returns.
Make
Yeah.
your point, General.
Thrawn
God.
is not your typical Imperial officer.
Yeah, no.
I know because I
not
fought
even
against him.
remotely. Yep. Complacency is what loses the day in this regard.
That went well.
Hey, Mom! Mom!
It's
Ahsoka
Jason.
and Sabine is gonna be a Jedi? I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah, I know you do, Jason.
Aww.
It takes time.
I know. I just...
She's not one to be patient.
I was hoping that the urgency of our situation could expedite my training a bit.
The Force resides in all living things, even you.
But it's our sensitivity,
That's
our
true, then
connection
why doesn't
to it.
everyone use it?
Talent is a factor. Not everyone can handle the type of discipline it takes to master the ways of the Force.
I'm going to give this my best.
Ahsoka's like, I know you will. Sabine truly believes it here.
You both knew this wouldn't be easy.
No,
Well, what you said didn't help.
I only spoke the truth.
not at all.
The Jedi Order would not have accepted her. She had standards which were proven over a millennia.
Yeah,
Failed.
and
You
yeah,
realize
very much failed.
historically there have been very few Mandalorians who ever became a Jedi. I suppose you do come from a long line of non-traditional Jedi.
This is very true.
She fits right in.
This is a very good point. Oh, come on, Sabine.
The Force is in all of us.
She's not focusing enough on the right things here. Man, a force-wielding Sabine would be a menace.
You win this round.
I do think that there's some force sensitivity of some kind.
Let's see what Morgan's been hiding out here.
A big-ass ship is what she's gonna be hiding here. Looks like it came out of hyperspace a little early to make sure.
Hyperspace so far from the planet.
Whatever it is has a signature which is unknown to me.
And the Eye of Sion. Oh boy. Enemy fighters closing in. What kind of ships are those? Alright, we got a couple of big players here. Well, it's nice that that ship is now kind of armed a bit more, because usually those shuttles wouldn't have weapons.
2 and 3, close range and engage.
Ooh, she's a badass. I love her. Oh, it's a perfect time for a lesson. Absolutely the perfect time for a lesson.
Sabine, tell me what you need. Move on my signal? Copy.
Oh.
All right. Get ready. Ready.
They're communicating with each other.
Dive.
Ooh, okay.
Ready. Now.
Ooh. There's one down.
Good work.
They're working together rather than against each other, which is good.
With me.
Sabine kind of needs her to listen.
2 more down.
Yeah. Almost like a large hyperspace ring.
I would say it is some sort of hyperspace ring.
Yeah.
Confirm that. Prepare turbo lasers.
My goodness, this thing is armed to the teeth as well. Oh, it's very armed to the teeth.
Just keep the ship steady while I attempt to run my scan.
It's not gonna be steady.
Open fire.
Oh, geez, those are some heavy cannons.
See if you can get a little closer.
Are you crosswired?
Closer, please.
Wu Yang. No sense of self-preservation. Ahsoka's not gonna be able to dodge all that forever.
Steady, steady. This is intolerable.
Oh, you better get out of there.
Scan complete.
Oh. Yep. Not destroyed, disabled. You're getting pulled into the planet.
Morgan, congratulations.
You almost got them.
Incoming.
Work fast. I'm going out there.
Out there.
Going out there?
Just keep working. I'll distract them.
What on earth are you going out there in? Those are some cool ships, though. Yo, what? Yo, Ahsoka! Yo, that's a cool spacesuit. Yo, is she deflecting some of that? Yeah, she is deflecting some of those. Oh, managed to hit one, too.
Did you fix the ship yet?
Gotta get back inside, hurry.
Nice trick. Got any more?
Buckle up.
I was about to say, you got Sabine at the helm now. She's, one hell of a pilot. Ooh. It's been a lot. There's been a lot happening here.
What? What is it?
We're just being tracked. Wait, the Purgles. Yo! Nice little reminder of Ezra. She's kind of using them as cover. Yo, live action Purgles are terrifying, but they're so cool. They're massive too. I mean, it makes sense. They're basically the size of Star Destroyers in some circumstances. Ooh, cutting it real close. Yep, lost them in the Purgles.
Where are they?
Ooh, maybe they're not trying to lose them. Maybe they're trying to take them out? Nope, just trying to lose them. Oh, they might find some answers here.
That won't lose them for long.
What did I miss?
We almost died.
Multiple times.
Ah, yes. Standard operating procedure.
Ying's just like, oh yeah, it's just another Jedi mission, whatever. It's casual. Good hiding spot.
Putting down.
I'll make sure they can't be scanned, maybe. Yeah, that's exactly it. Making sure that scanners can't detect them. Wonder if they're gonna find the map while they're here.
Haven't seen those creatures since the day Ezra disappeared.
Yang, could a ring like that make a jump to a neighboring galaxy?
Theoretically, if one knew the coordinates and navigation, yes, I believe it could. The
And
Jedi
they do.
archives speak of intergalactic hyperspace lanes between galaxies, which used to follow the migration paths of star whales named Purgle.
Yeah. Oh,
The ones we just saw.
crud.
Really? When?
So this is a jumping off point. Oh, goody, they're on the surface.
Jedi have taken refuge in the forest.
Oh, I want to see him fight. Like, I'm really excited to see him, like, probably fight Ahsoka at some point. Wait, no, that can't be the end of the episode. Oh, you suck. Oh, man. I'm like, oh, man, we're getting some good stuff here. And then they're like, yeah, nope. See you next week. So we just finished watching Ahsoka Season 1, Episode 3, titled Time to Fly, and makes a whole lot of sense now. We got to see a lot of different things here. Obviously, we had the penultimate scene of the dogfight that happened. But before we get into that, there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about in regards to Sabine's training scene. And then followed up by Hera attempting to get the New Republic senators to help. First of all, the training scene had a lot of me reminiscing from obviously A New Hope with how Luke was training, you know, with a blast shield down. Who am I supposed to see? How am I supposed to fight? Well, it is something that is very common amongst those who are training in the ways of the Jedi to have to anticipate the movements of their opponent rather than just simply going with what they see. And it gave us kind of a cool instance of like, Sabine is improving, but she still is kind of like, her mind is clouded and blocked, and she doesn't necessarily open herself up to the Force. She thinks of it less in a sense of like it connects everything, and more of in a sense that like, oh, I need to be able to do it in order to be better, which, you know, is a very Mandalorian way of thinking. And that's not to insult the Mandalorians. The Mandalorians are very much a people of practicality. They go with what is in front of them. They don't always necessarily see the bigger picture. And it's probably part of the reason why we saw things play out as they did during the events of the Clone Wars. Foresight was never really their strongest suit. It's the reason why Maul was so good at kind of running the Mandalorians, especially Death Watch, for the longest time, because he was very good at the Foresight, and that was kind of a feature that Mandalorians lacked, was the ability to see things in the bigger picture. They were always about like, these are our ways, we stake to our ways, and there's not really anything that we change about ourselves. We've always been a people who have fought amongst each other. But if there was to be a Mandalorian that would really bring about change, I really do truly think it would be Sabine. Sabine is someone who is, even for a Mandalorian, unorthodox, other than the fact that, you know, she has an affinity for fighting and explosives. But at the same time, she's even, for the longest time, she also rejected the ways of her clan, of her family, because for her, she didn't necessarily like the fact that there was always just this constant civil war, this constant fighting, this constant need to prove themselves. Sabine isn't one of those Mandalorians, but yet she still has a lot of the tendencies of the Mandalorian, which is why it's still very hard. It's kind of like almost thinking along the lines of when Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender is trying to train in earthbending, which is his kind of natural element. It's the reason why I do truly think that Mandalorian Jedi don't really happen. They kind of do force themselves to kind of block out any sort of, you know, force sensitivity and force ability. And so there's a very real possibility that she has it, but because of her ways, because of her traditions as a Mandalorian, they were, whether purposefully or otherwise, just shut out. And this scene, I feel like, was starting to show her potential. She obviously was able to start anticipating things. Not perfectly, but she was starting. And I do still think that she is having a lot of force visions. Every time I see her sleeping and she's kind of like, you know, shuffling back and forth, you know, she has her eyes closed and she's like, you know, almost seems like disturbed in a sense. I get the feeling like she is having either glimpses of the future or glimpses of the past, and those a lot of the time are representative of some early indicators of force sensitivity. And so I really do truly think that it's there, but her entire life has been one of suppression, one of like, I'm going to suppress all of my trauma, I'm going to bury it deep down, I'm not going to deal with it, because that was how she survived for as long as she did. And so really an excellent scene. It really got us thinking about like how someone who is typically non-force sensitive would be able to be trained in the ways of the Jedi. And it's kind of getting a light side version of Grievous in a sense, because Grievous was the furthest thing from force sensitive, yet Dooku still trained him. And so nice little thing that we got there. The scene with Hera and the senators, along with Chancellor Mothma, of all things, was frustrating. And it really leads me to understand why the First Order came to rise and rose in power not even that many years after this. It really does truly feel like, you know, they are making so many mistakes that the Old Republic made, and they're getting complacent. They're like, oh, he's dead. Stop worrying about it. You're just trying to get resources out of us that we don't have or that we would need elsewhere. And I can see that, like, Mon Mothma is definitely worried. She's concerned. Because as soon as Thrawn was name dropped, like, she was like, wait a minute, I dealt with him myself as well. And I saw the carnage that Thrawn had wrought on the world and on this galaxy. And you could immediately see the fear. But none of the other senators sitting there were those who had fought against Thrawn. Thrawn is not someone to be taken lightly. The only way that he could be defeated was by literally removing him from the equation. And even then, like, it was by like a fluke. Like the fact that Admiral Constantine defied his order and tried to go in with the interdictor, and that was what allowed Ezra to escape and bring back reinforcements. Like, it was the only reason why they managed to survive past season 3, because otherwise then Thrawn had them cornered and there was no way out. And Ezra had to literally sacrifice himself, Thrawn, and the entire crew of the Chimera to just remove him from the playing board. I do think Thrawn would actually appreciate being referred to as like a game piece in this, you know, theater of war, this this game of war, because for him that's what it was. It was an art form just as much as it was tactical. And it irritates me to see this because they're just repeating the mistakes of the past, and while at the same time, like, I shouldn't feel this way, it gives me less sympathy for their fate later on in the sequel trilogy in The Force Awakens, when much of the New Republic is wiped from the map. Like the worlds that are shown there are just wiped off the playing board once again. And so I can understand Hera's frustration. It was really cool to see Jason as well, you know, Kanan and Hera's son. But the real big scene here was the dog fight, and it was pretty epic, and we kind of got to see a little bit of growth in how Ahsoka was teaching Sabine, because Ahsoka was trying to teach Sabine and she wasn't responding to it. And so that's when Ahsoka finally said, "What do you need? What do you need from me?" And Sabine was immediately able to take action because they were able to listen to each other and be able to work off of each other and work with each other rather than kind of button heads on things, because Sabine doesn't work well with that. It's the reason why when Kanan was first trying to train her that it didn't work out. She needed to be taught in a different way than that of a Jedi. And so we saw her obviously be able to take out a couple of ships, but obviously it was nothing against Shin and Marek. Marok? I think it's Marok, because Marek is a different name. We have no idea if he'll be on Mass. If it's Galen Marek, then maybe. Who knows? I saw a theory that was potentially him, but for those of you who don't know, that's Starkiller. Right? I believe. Hold. I want to make sure I'm not actually talking out of my ass. Yeah, it is Starkiller. Okay, I thought I had his name right. I was I was watching a lot of theory videos on this, so I wanted to make sure I didn't get some names mixed up here. But Shin and Marok, who were piloting two of the ships, they were the only two surviving ships. But it did lead to a pretty epic dogfight where Ahsoka ended up on the ship, just slicing up ships. Super badass. It was awesome that she was able to get up on the hull and distract them for a bit, because it obviously seemed like Shin wanted to take her out of the equation. And the Eye of Sion. It is literally meant to be a hyperspace ring. I'm angry at myself that I didn't recognize that at first, because it looks like an old Jedi hyperspace ring for their starfighters. And I have this theory that they are using it to go and find Thrawn's Star Destroyer, the Chimera, and attach it to the ship and be able to bring it back. And that's a pretty big piece to bring back into the equation here. And so the fact that the hyperspace ring has turbo lasers on it as well is quite terrifying, because Thrawn's Chimera was already scary to begin with, and then you introduce a hyperspace ring that can let him travel faster and further while also being armed to the teeth. Like, it's not gonna go well. The appearance of the Purgles. I knew that there was going to be some sort of connection after they mentioned that it was a big hyperspace ring capable of much further and faster hyperspace travel. In addition to the Purgles, they are basically indicating that this world that they are sitting on there that has like the map is basically like a almost like an intergalactic intersection, where they're like, this is the place to go from to get out of this galaxy. And that was why they needed the map in the first place, because they needed the coordinates to actually get to this this place that was really just myth and legend for the longest time. But obviously the Night Sisters of old had some methods outside of that of the Jedi. And I am excited to see where they go with this. I get the feeling like next episode we're gonna be seeing a hunt through the woods, and then finally the ship, the Eye of Sion is going to be ready to depart, and they are going to depart and make their way out of there. And I get the feeling like either they're going to have to hitchhike on said Eye of Sion, or I really think they're going to have to hitchhike, or they maybe crash their ship into it, keep themselves on it, and then have to kind of sneak around for a bit until they get to their destination. But only time will tell. Man, If we get Thrawn next episode, even if it's just like a little thing at the very end of the episode, then I'm gonna be very happy. Same with if we see Ezra. I'm so ready for this. I cannot wait. I can't believe I'm actually keeping up with this because now I have to wait an entire week for this to come out. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and if there's anything that I missed while talking about this. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. But in the meantime, class, you are officially dismissed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, everybody.